Enough. Okay. Couple things, just real cool questions here, since we've covered a lot of different things already. Cryptocurrency, any opinions on cryptocurrency? Is it, you have a whole big camp right now saying this is exactly why we know we were gonna go to cryptocurrency. This is the time to buy, XRP, Ripple. What's your opinions on cryptocurrency?
So I think cryptocurrency is a modern day reflection of the disgust that we have in a lack of discipline in monetary policy making. It is this generation's gold. And my issue with it is that it is much more convertible as opposed to physical gold. Cryptocurrency is much more adaptable on a sovereign level. So you've already had the Bank of England, you've certainly had Venezuela, Russia, and China. They were at the forefront of coming out and saying we're going to have sovereign cryptocurrencies so that we can monitor what everybody buys in our societies. It's going to be yet another instrument that we have on top of facial recognition. But you've also had the United States also step in and say, yes, there will be a federal cryptocurrency at some point. So as long as you have that ability to make it go from something that is in the private realm to being something that is sovereign, I think that takes away its convertibility to gold, if you will.
So, pro, yes. Put a couple
Neutral.
of bobs in there, or
I'm very neutral on.
Are you in Bitcoin? Are you in
I am not.
cryptocurrency?
I own gold, but I do not own cryptocurrency.
You are gold, but not cryptocurrency.
Correct.
So let's talk about gold. What's your opinions today on gold?
So gold surprised a lot of people because it got hit initially when financial markets had their initial setback. And that, I would like to clarify, was more a function of margin calls.
You're talking about recently.
I'm very recently.
Yeah, it went from 53 a kilo down to 47K, 46K.
Yes.
Yes.
So
okay.
Now it's coming back as the printing presses worldwide get revved up, and people are like, they're not going to stop. They're already talking about the second, the third, the fourth stimulus bill. So they're just going to print to kingdom come, and so's the rest of the world. And which country can roll out with the biggest stimulus package? So now you're seeing gold play its traditional role of the protector of the hard asset value, a store of value. Now you're seeing gold come out and rise, and I would suspect that should continue as they try and piss all over the US dollar by printing to kingdom come.
And you're foreseeing it grow for what? Foreseeable future, like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Because if you go to the last 30 years, if you put it against Dow Jones crushed gold in the last 30 years. In the last 15 years, it's beaten Dow Jones and S&P 500. So are you talking 10, 20 years?
Well, I won't say 10 to 20 years because my crystal ball is not that good.
Okay.
But I would certainly say, if you're talking about the next 5 years or so, I would certainly think that was going to be the case because everybody's of the opinion that the stock market's going to come roaring back and that the Fed's going to be able to save the day. I'm not so sure, which means that if I'm not so sure and we're going to need more stimulus, then gold is going to be more attractive as a factor of time.
Another crazy conspiracy theory I'll throw at you, see what you think about it. How much of this do you think it's coronavirus and whatever's going on with U.S. and China? How much of this do you think is China saying, you know what, screw you, U.S. You're playing this hardball with me. I'm going to come and bully you in a whole different way that you won't even pay attention to it. How much credibility do you give to that? 5%? 1%?
I'm not going to answer that question, but I am going to answer the question in a different way. because I'm Christian at heart and I like to think that nobody would want to kill people. I will say this much, and if you're listening, write it down. In late November, word had already gotten off of the mainland that there was a virus in Wuhan. On January the 15th, the U.S. trade bill was signed, phase 1. December the 15th. I had a whole month off, December the 15th. 6 weeks later, the trade truce was signed with an out clause, a very clever out clause that the Chinese made sure was in there, that said if there was any kind of act of God, pandemic, then they didn't have to make good on what they had committed to buy from the United States. Within days, they announced the first coronavirus. So, did the Chinese know damn well that this thing was running around the world for 6 weeks before they shut down Wuhan? Yes, they did. Is that criminal? Yes, it is. Does it deserve to go in front of a world tribunal? Yes, it does. Because we know that it was the unfettered travel that made this thing a global